Good evening and welcome to the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Rapids pregame show. It's Wednesday night, which means the West Kent Steamers have made the journey up to Grand Falls to play against the Rapids in what is sure to be a very highly anticipated, highly physical game that I'm sure a lot of people have been looking forward to since the last time that these two teams met. Now, very fun. Now, with that said, the West Kent Steamers are in town to take on the Grand Falls Rapids. Taking a look at the standings. Currently, the Steamers sit in third place, tied with the Campbellton Tigers for second place in the Eastlink North Division. Only 2 points ahead of the Miramichi Timberwolves in what is shaping up to be an absolute dogfight. And these teams are ready to go. It's insanity. We'll get into that more in just a moment here. But the West Kent Steamers, 21-10-4-1 on the season. The Grand Falls Rapids, 9-22-1-5. They've struggled recently, but are on the way to getting a couple of things back. Power play stats, of course, are special teams. The West Kent Steamers with the top power play in the Eastlink North Division at 24.4% and a penalty kill at 83.2%, which also leads the Eastlink North Division as well. The Grand Falls Rapids with the bottom placed power play at 16.8% and a 74.8% power play as well. So this is going to be a battle of, if the Rapids can't stay out of the box, it will put them into trouble very, very quickly. Really looking forward to seeing how this team is going to end up playing, but I think it's going to be good. We'll dive into the matchup a little bit here in just a moment. And as promised, we're going to get into the matchup. So leading the way for the West Kent Steamers in points and goals and assists, rather, Damon Engelhut with 19 goals and 25 assists for 44 points on the season. And on the other end, it is the Grand Falls Rapids captain, Jonah Laird, with 22 goals and 28 assists for 50 points through the 37 games that the Rapids have played so far this season. Now, we mentioned that this was going to be an important matchup for a couple different reasons. Number one, the Rapids, this is a big game for the Rapids because this will determine essentially whether or not it is too late for them to catch up, because the Miramichi Timberwolves are also going to play this weekend. And, well, the Grand Falls Rapids are going to play Friday against Campbellton as well, but this is a big week for them as well, because this is going to determine whether or not they are able to catch the next place team up from there, because we're going to start to see, as the season rolls on and the pursuit to March starts, it is already going to be January. It's already January 22nd. So you think about it this way, the season is 3/4 of the way over almost, essentially, and we're going to start to see more teams clinch right now in the Eastlink South Division. Excuse me. The Summerside Western Capitals are the only team that's clinched, and in the Eastlink North Division, the Edmundston Blizzard is the only team that has clinched. Now, with that said, you're seeing teams that are going to start to catch up a little bit, like the Campbellton Tigers, who have overtaken the West Kent Steamers in the last few games and are now tied with them for that second place division spot. And then, of course, the Miramichi Timberwolves, who are only 2 points behind them. So for West Kent, this is more of a high stakes game, I think, than it is for Grand Falls. But because West Kent, on one hand, is trying to chase down that second place division spot and get their place back that they once had. And also, they're trying to stave off Miramichi from pushing them further down into the division. Now, for the Grand Falls Rapids, on the other hand, they are 21 points behind the Miramichi Timberwolves currently. And this could be a big week for them, because we're going to start to see the elimination scenarios roll out. And being 21 points out of the playoffs, we're still not... the Rapids are still not at the bottom of the division, but you're going to see the first team that is going to be eliminated would be the Fredericton Red Wings, right? And that, I would assume, is coming up very shortly. We obviously don't know the clinching or elimination scenarios quite yet, but once the Red Wings are eliminated, then it's just a matter of time. Time would be ticking down for the Grand Falls Rapids, so they want to try and win as many games and get back into the playoff race as possible. Otherwise, they're going to be chasing that draft lottery, and, you know, it would suck if they had to go that route, but I still have faith that they are going to keep competitive for the rest of the season coming up. So it's a bit of a high stakes game for both teams. They're going to want to try to win this game at all costs. Doesn't matter what you do, how you win, just win and win it good, because this is going to be a game that you're going to see. It's highly contested for both sides. More so, I think, for West Kent because they've got more at stake, but the Rapids, on the other hand, they're going to stay competitive, and you know that they are because they are not down and out of this fight yet. They have a lot of games left to play. There are a lot of points up at stake, and there are so many opportunities for them to make up points. But on the other side, you have to hope that Miramichi goes on a little bit of a losing streak as well, which I think is going to be easier said than done. However, it's not completely impossible. What are the keys to the game for the Rapids? So first off, I think you need to have a solid performance from your goaltenders. We saw that Loic Nadeau played fantastic on Sunday night against the Truro Bearcats, and he had himself a lights-out game. It was a very close game. 3-2 was the final score. But if Adam LaCour is starting, you want him to have a lights out game as well. He's had a couple of games that he's stolen this season, but I know that he can have it in him to stop all of those shots. Maybe, just maybe, I can't say the word because I don't want to jinx him, but maybe get an impressive win where he doesn't let up a whole lot of goals, if any at all. So I think that's going to be a huge opportunity for them to really hone into this and have a strong goaltending performance. The other thing, stay out of the box for the love of God. This team, especially against Truro, it was a penalty that ended up costing them the game, and it was just one of those calls that was just a discipline, and you can't really, if you want to win this game, you cannot let those penalties stack up, because you know that West Kent, they have the top power play in the division, and they've got the top penalty kill in the division, so special teams is their specialty. And I know that goes without saying probably, but special teams is their specialty. Stay out of the box, and if you are on the power play, make sure you strike as much as you can and strike early and hard to get those opportunities past their penalty kill unit and get them out. Maybe you send it down the length of the ice and you get them to chase the puck, make them tired, make them work a little harder, and eventually those penalty killers will get tired. Send your second power play unit out there and then score some goals from there. Easier said than done once again, but you know that they can do it. Now, we're getting to that point in the season where we might see some injuries, and you won't know who's going to be in and out of the lineup yet, but we are going to see a couple of players, I'm sure, over the next couple of games that are going to be out. It looked like in the games against Truro, there were a couple of guys that were battling things. Now, this is just from what I've noticing. You saw on the bench, there were a couple of guys holding their wrists. Just little things like that you pick up on. So there may be the point where they are starting to feel the physical effects of the season taking a toll on them. And that's the other thing, right? Is if your lineup is not 100% healthy, it's going to be a little bit tougher to win games too, because you don't know who's going to be in and out. You don't know who is going to be not dressing on a nightly basis, or if you're going to have to bring anybody up at all. So we'll see what goes on. But I'm confident that this team is going to get a win here tonight against West Kent. And with that said, it's going to be a huge bloodbath of a game, and it's going to be one that you're not going to want to miss. If you haven't got your tickets already, head down to the box office right before the game, or anytime. Basically, anytime before puck drop, get your tickets. Make sure that you are there in your seats cheering on these boys, because once that puck drops against the West Kent Steamers, this game is going to get real exciting. It's going to get very, very fast-paced, very exciting, and there's going to be a lot of all-night, total nonstop action. You're not going to want to miss this. So before we end things off, I am going to pose the question of the game. So we did get a whole lot of responses on the last question, so we'll try this. try this one as well. Now, the Rapids, for those who have been keeping up with the prospects in the system and how the Rapids have been drafting and the acquirees that they got at the trade deadline, my question of the game, this game, is which Rapids prospect are you most excited for in the offseason? I know that Jackson Summers has been a name that's come up a lot, but personally, I am really excited for Caleb Sear, who is having himself quite the year with the Moncton Flyers U18 AAA squad, and I'm very excited to see what he's able to bring into the lineup. He's only 17 years old, but come September, we could be looking at a full-time roster player in him. So I will pose that question to you. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification for all future content, and if you really like this video, don't forget to share it with all your friends, and we will see you after the game for the Grand Falls Rapids post-game show.